This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. This is the first of two extra videos that I'm putting out this week. If you're watching this on the day it goes up, that'll be Friday the 29th of April. And as you know, I don't usually do videos on a Friday. I do the live stream later, but I don't usually put this kind of content up on a Friday. And occasionally I put up a video on a Saturday, but not very often. But there's going to be this video today, Friday. I'm actually recording this on Monday, but it's going out on Friday. There's going to be this Friday video, and there's also going to be a video on Saturday tomorrow morning as well, so stay tuned for that. So what's it all about then? Well, it's basically I'm buying a guitar, as you probably saw from the title of the video. Think back to 1992. One big thing, excuse me, itchy nose, one big thing that happened to me in 1992 is that I went from being an unemployed ex-lab technician to being a full-time musician and guitar teacher. I've been doing this for 30 years. Gosh, time flies. Now, the other thing that is significant about 1992 is it's the last year that I owned a guitar with the words Gibson, Les Paul, and Made in the USA written on it. So I just thought, you know, I've been doing this 30 years. Let's just have a little treat, you know. So essentially, I'm going to be buying a Les Paul. Now, the other reason I'm buying this guitar, and it is a little bit of a, it did weigh on my mind, is that my last tax bill was a big chunk of money more than I was expecting it to be. And given what I do for a living, guitars are tax deductible. So I thought, well, if there's a big chunk of money going out the door, I'd rather there was a big chunk of guitar coming in the other direction, rather than me, you know, funding the latest pay rise that this bunch of crooks, shysters, expense form fiddlers and assorted dullards and half-wits have voted for themselves. Yes, indeed. I did actually think about going into politics myself, you know, but unfortunately I wasn't allowed because my parents were married. Anyway, so it is a little bit of a tax thing, a financial thing, and it's a reward for just, you know, the last however many years I've been doing 70-hour weeks, you know, kind of keeping the, you know, getting the business going and building it up to the point that it's at now. So let's go and buy a Les Paul. Okay, so this is the one that I've settled on, the Gibson Les Paul Tribute in satin iced tea finish. It's £1,000. It's £1,000, all but a quid, which is a big chunk of money. Let's not mince words, but it's a big chunk of money less than it would cost for a Gibson Les Paul standard. And I just think that this guitar, for me, puts more kind of ticks in the plus column than the minus column. Leaving aside the price for a moment, the first thing I like about this guitar as opposed to the standard is the satin finish. I think it's a handsome looking beast, it has to be said. And the other thing is I mean, satin versus gloss, as I've often said, it's not a deal breaker either way, but if I do have to express a preference, I'll go with satin. The lack of binding isn't really a thing for me. As you can see, there kind of is a binding effect on here, in much the same way that PRS do the binding, where it's just like the natural kind of wood showing, which does the same thing as binding. I guess it kind of outlines the body and you know, kind of defines it. The lack of binding on the neck might be a thing for some people on a Les Paul, but for me, again, not a deal breaker either way, but I do prefer an unbound neck. The other thing is, if we just go back here, the pickups on this guitar are the Gibson 490s, which having done my research and due diligence, I've figured out that, or found out that those are Alnico 2 humbuckers, as opposed to the burst buckers you get on a standard, which are Alnico 5. And once again, not a lot in it, but if I have to express a preference, I'll go with Alnico 2. So, as I say, the price is a factor, I won't deny. I could just about stretch to the £2,000 plus change you'd have to part with for a Les Paul standard, but I'd be getting pickups that were less my preference than the pickups on these. I'd be getting a gloss finish, which is less my preference, and so on. So, all in all, I think I'm going to go with this one. So, let's go over here and click Add to Basket.
Go on, lad, way ahead.
So there it is. It's confirmed. I've just bought myself a Les Paul. Now, I know what many of you are thinking. I know many of you are saying to yourselves right now, or maybe even shouting at the screen, but John, you've spent the last however many years it is on YouTube telling us that if we want something that looks like a Les Paul, sounds like a Les Paul, plays like a Les Paul, then you don't have to spend that kind of money. You can get something like that guitar back there, that Harley Benton SC552. Well, fear ye not, I'm not joining the ranks of the badge snobs. I love my Harley Benton guitars. I think they are incredible value for money, and you know, I'll defend them to the hilt. But sometimes an electric guitar is about more than the functionality of the musical instrument. Sometimes, like I said, it's a little reward to yourself. It's a little kind of treat. It's a badge of achievement, if you want to kind of think that way. And what I'm going to do is, when it arrives, you'll see me unboxing it tomorrow. That is the other extra video that I'm doing this week. So stay tuned for that. That'll be going out on Saturday morning. What I'm going to do is, I've got the Yamaha Revstar here, which I am really quite enamoured with. I really love that guitar. So there's going to be a little bit of a tough decision as to whether the Les Paul becomes the long-term resident here at Robson Towers, or whether the Yamaha does. You know, which basically which one of those two guitars is going to stay, because they are essentially the same kind of DNA, the same mahogany set neck, 24 3/4 inch twin humbucker kind of thing. So there'll be a decision to make about which one stays and which one goes, but they can't both stay, and I'll keep you updated on that once I've had me hands on both guitars for a little while and come to a decision. But that is pretty much the video for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've found it entertaining in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And as I say, don't forget the live stream a little bit later on today, 5 p.m. UK time, where we're going to drink beer and talk about music and guitars. I wonder what the topic of conversation might be on that live stream. Let's wait and see, shall we? But till then, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.